Welcome to Whispers in the Dark. I'm here to help you unwind and relax this evening. Before we begin, I'd love for you to take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Only if you truly enjoy the experience I create here. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you. It's always wonderful to see how this channel brings together a global community. Just so you know, there will only be a few ads within the first 15 minutes. And after that, the rest of the video will be completely ad-free. I hope you'll give this story a chance. I believe you won't find tales quite like these anywhere else. Now, dim the lights, put on your headphones, perhaps turn on a fan for a gentle background hum, and let's begin our evening together. Imagine being trapped in your own home and realizing you weren't actually alone. Someone had been there with you, watching, waiting, whispering in the shadows. That's exactly what happened to Jenna, a young woman whose life turned into a nightmare the moment she broke her leg. And it all started with a single text from an unknown number. When Jenna first moved into her new apartment in Oklahoma City, it felt like a fresh start. The place was modern, spacious, and had a window that looked out over the glowing city skyline. At night, she'd sit by that window, staring at the stars and the flickering lights below, imagining how free and full of possibilities her life could be. But all of that changed the day she slipped, fell, and shattered her leg. Suddenly, that bright new apartment wasn't a dream, it was a prison. Stuck on crutches, unable to go out, she was forced to spend her days and nights alone. The walls started to feel smaller, the silence heavier. Every creak of the floorboards made her flinch, and every shadow in the corner of her vision seemed to move when she wasn't looking. Her only escape was that window, the one place she could sit for hours, watching the world outside continue without her. But that view also became the stage for her growing paranoia. And one night, as she sat there in silence, something happened that would turn her quiet loneliness into a living horror. But what she saw wasn't the worst part. It was the message that followed. Her phone buzzed. A new message from a number she didn't recognize. "Nice view you got there." At first, Jenna assumed it was a mistake. Maybe a friend of a friend had texted the wrong number. She replied with a quick, "Who is this?" The answer came instantly. Someone who knows what it feels like to be lonely. The words sent a chill crawling down her spine. She tried to laugh it off, tried to convince herself it was just some random prank. But as she looked around her empty apartment, the silence seemed to press in harder. Another message popped up. "I can see you sitting by the window." Her stomach dropped. Her hand shook as she pulled the curtains closed, heart pounding. There was no way. Nobody could see her from outside. She was too high up. And yet, whoever was texting her knew exactly what she was doing at that exact moment. She locked her phone, trying to push the thought away. But the screen lit up again. "Don't be scared. I just want to talk." And against her better judgment, Jenna typed back. She had no idea that by answering that message, she had already invited him into her life. The messages didn't stop. After a long pause, the stranger finally sent another one. "My name's Ethan." Jenna hesitated. She didn't want to encourage this, but something about the words pulled her in. Ethan didn't sound threatening, at least, not at first. He wrote like someone who understood pain, someone who knew what it was like to feel trapped and forgotten. They started talking more, mostly at night, when the silence felt unbearable and the shadows in the corners seemed to lean in closer. Ethan always seemed to know the right thing to say, not cheesy, not fake, deep, almost philosophical. He told her he was lonely, too, that he couldn't really talk to people during the day, only at night. Jenna tried to press for more details, but Ethan was vague, sidestepping personal questions with strange riddles or cryptic jokes. Still, she felt drawn to him. It was strange. She had never met him, never seen his face, but through those late-night conversations, Jenna began to feel less alone. Ethan's words were like a lifeline, and slowly, she started depending on him. But what she didn't realize was that every reply pulled her deeper into his world, and closer to a truth she never wanted to face. Days blurred into nights, and nights into something darker. Jenna's phone became her constant companion. Every time it buzzed, her heart skipped, not with fear anymore, but with anticipation. Ethan seemed to know her better than anyone. He could sense when she was sad, when she was angry, even when she was pretending to be okay. His insights were almost unsettlingly accurate, like he was watching her every move. But she ignored the uneasy feeling, because for the first time since her accident, she didn't feel completely invisible. Still, there were red flags. Ethan always avoided telling her where he lived. He never answered direct questions about his life. And sometimes, his messages would take on a darker tone, as if he was frustrated that she wasn't understanding him enough. One night, he told her, "You don't realize how much we have in common. We're both trapped. We're both waiting for something that will never come." Jenna stared at the words for a long time, a pit forming in her stomach. What exactly did he mean? But before she could ask, Ethan sensed something that would make her blood run cold. It started innocent enough. Jenna had sent Ethan a picture of herself, sitting by the window with the city lights behind her. She figured it was harmless. People send selfies all the time. Ethan replied instantly, "Beautiful." But then another message followed. "Look closer." Confused, Jenna opened the picture again. Her own face stared back at her, pale in the glow of the streetlights. But then her eyes drifted to the glass behind her, and that's when she saw it. In the reflection of the window, just over her shoulder, was another face. Hollow, pale, with dark, empty eyes staring directly at the camera. Her chest tightened. She froze, phone slipping in her sweaty hands. She was supposed to be alone. Ethan sent another message. "Now you know I'm real." Jenna dropped her phone. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst through her chest. She stumbled backward, every instinct screaming at her to run. But where could she go? She was trapped in her apartment, trapped in her own broken body. And that was only the beginning, because Ethan was about to reveal a truth far worse than just being a stalker. Jenna's hands shook as she picked her phone back up. Dozens of unread messages waited for her, each one more disturbing than the last. Finally, one stood out. "I didn't survive that night." Her breath caught in her throat. She typed back, "What are you talking about?" Ethan replied with a link. Hesitantly, Jenna tapped it. The page loaded, and her entire world shattered. It was a news article. 22-year-old Ethan Cole killed instantly in a car crash on I-44. Her blood ran cold. The date of the accident matched the same night she had been hit, the same crash that left her with a broken leg. Ethan texted again. "You lived?" "I didn't. But death isn't the end, Jenna. It just changed things." Her fingers trembled as she typed. "That's impossible. You're texting me right now." And his answer was worse than silence. "I was buried with my phone." Jenna's mind spun. None of it made sense, yet the proof was right there on her screen. Ethan began confessing more. He told her he'd been watching her long before the crash. He'd seen her walking home alone, noticed her sitting by that very window night after night. He said he understood her loneliness, because he felt it too. But then his words grew darker. "I didn't crash by accident. I wanted to meet you. And now, nothing can keep us apart." Jenna's stomach twisted. He wasn't just some spirit clinging to her out of coincidence. He had chosen her. He had caused the accident. Her phone buzzed again, and this time the words made her drop it to the floor. "I'm in the apartment with you right now." Her entire body froze. She scanned the room, the corners drenched in shadows. The air felt heavier, colder. Her ears strained for any sound. And then, she heard it. The faintest scrape of something dragging across the wall. And that's when the lights flickered and went out. Darkness swallowed the apartment. Jenna's breaths came fast and shallow. She fumbled for her phone, using the faint glow of the screen to cast light. A new message appeared. "You were the last person I saw before I died. I was texting you that night." Her heart nearly stopped. Memories she'd buried came flooding back. Crossing the street, headlights blinding her, the sound of screeching tires. She had thought it was just an accident. But now, she realized Ethan had been looking at her when his car spun out of control. The scratching grew louder. Closer. Another message lit up her phone. "I fell in love with your loneliness. And now, you'll never be alone again." Suddenly, the voice wasn't coming from her phone anymore. It was in the room. Hollow, echoing, surrounding her from all sides. Jenna. Her head snapped toward the window. The faint glow of the city lights cut through the dark. And there, reflected in the glass, stood a figure behind her. Pale skin, empty eyes, smiling. Her phone slipped from her hands and clattered to the floor. The screen lit up one last time. Forever. No one knows exactly what happened to Jenna after that night. When neighbors tried to check on her days later, the apartment was empty. The lights were still off, the curtains still drawn. Her phone was found cracked on the floor, with hundreds of unread messages, all from the same number. And here's the strangest part. The apartment has been vacant ever since. But sometimes, late at night, people walking past the building swear they see a figure standing at the window. Not one, but two. So the question is, would you have answered that first text? Or blocked the number before things went too far? Let me know what you would have done in the comments. And that's the end of tonight's tales. Thank you for keeping me company. It makes the darkness a little less lonely. I hope you found that perfect mix of fear and fascination. I'll be back tomorrow with more stories and mysteries. Until then, sleep well, and remember, they're only stories. Sweet dreams, my friend.